Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video update brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, let's get right into the analysis for the day. A little bit of a lackluster Monday. The early morning session saw a sell off, and then once the volume died out, again, we're seeing the market float up. Now, the interesting factors from last week were this: you saw a massive amount of money flow coming into mutual funds last week, and that should continue this week. If the average investor is putting money into the market, they don't just do it on one specific week. It probably is, spread out across a couple weeks of time here. So I think in general, last week we saw the same thing: early selling, and this is institutional. Usually the morning session is institutional, and then the middle ground is the money flow from the average investor coming in the market. Same thing again today: the early morning sell off, and then the market's floating up. So again, the average investor is keeping this market afloat right now, and then at this stage of the game, what you're going to look for is basically a continuation of that. What I'm seeing is a market that floats up over the next couple weeks, nearing the double top 148 level and then possibly the 150 level on the spiders. It's only about a 2.5% increase, but I am seeing about a 2.5% increase percentage-wise in the markets as a very high probability. Once we achieve that, I think the markets will turn around. Probably in early February, you'll start to see some pullback action, and that coincides with us getting towards the deadline for the debt ceiling being raised and possible default by the U.S. government, and obviously spending cuts, which are going to be tied to it, as the Republicans will make sure of that. Okay, so that's the general prognosis of the market going forward. What I want to do now is get to the daily chart, and again, just clearly see how the markets are just kind of floating up here. So you had the big push up on the fiscal cliff into the new year, and then essentially what you did is the first move went right into here. You can see how you stalled right there. The second move on Friday, we came right up into here. And you can see we stalled there, and now we're pausing here. And notice the pause last week. Early in the week, we paused as well before pushing up. So I'm anticipating, again, a little bit of a pause early in the week, and then, again, the market should advance little by little. And most likely by the end of this week, I see us achieving this little bit of a high. All right, now what I'm doing in terms of investment-wise, swing trading-wise, is just focusing on the PPT, which is price, pattern, and time proprietary strategies. And again, these coincide and help us have with an 80 to 90% success rate. I talked about this over the weekend video that I did for you guys free. But last week we made 16.5% on research, RenRen. RENN. Last week we also made 29% on Rosetta Genomics, also moved there. And then also Best Buy last week we made 11.5% on. So amazing winners last week. If you extrapolate it out, check this out, folks. Last week, if you just invested $10,000 in each of those plays, you would have made over 5 G's, 5,000 bucks over. If you map that out to a month, that's over 20,000 a month, and if you map that over the course of the year, that's a return from 30,000 of over $250,000. So again, you don't have to invest a lot to make good money when you're using the PPT methodology, because it just enables you to find the exact winners that are going to run. And again, that is the beauty of it, okay? All right, going to a couple other stocks today. We are seeing some crazy movement out of Dell. There is rumors of a takeover in Dell, folks, a possible privatization of this stock, and it is surging dramatically. Look at this move on the daily chart. You don't see Dell go up $1.55, $1.60 very often. And again, a little bit of a topping tail here off the 3-bar surge. But anyway you look at it, that's a tremendous move. Research in Motion is continuing its run up. Another dollar higher here yesterday, or I should say on Friday it was up $1, and today it's up another $1. Amazing move here on that stock. And if we look at a couple other key stocks out there, let's take a look at Intel. Intel inched up a little bit on that news off the lows, but still down slightly. And again, that will usually trend a little bit with Dell, although again, you can see it's just a minor move up on Intel, as we're not hearing buyout rumors on Intel. All right, Amazon's having a big day today as well. This stock continues to grind higher. I have to say, I'm not big on shorting into earnings, but if this continues to rally, part of me would want to short it into the earnings release in a couple weeks, okay? So I'll keep an eye on that as well. What else? Apple. Apple's getting hammered today, although the interesting factor will be when does it close, or where does it close today? Does it close above or below the 505, 506 level? Right now it's trading just a hair below, but they're starting to rally it up. Now, if it closes above 505, 506, they've saved it. If it closes below 505, we'll call it, if it closes below that level, you could be in breakdown mode and you could head to 470 to 475 very, very quickly. So, again, just a heads up on that one in terms of Apple getting a nice fall. Now, the Apple kind of news that was out this morning was actually out a few weeks ago, but it didn't seem to make a big impact. But basically, they're slashing production of the iPhone and a bunch of these other ones. It doesn't sound good for Apple, but again, for me as a swing trader, I really don't care because I look for the PPT, price pattern and time methodology, on any chart at any point. If it's there, it's an 80 to 90% winning chance. If it's not, then I avoid it. And again, 3 more winners last week. We're getting off on the right foot this year. That's all you can ask for, folks. You just want to rock and roll and profit all year long. All right, let me just see what else is going on. JPM's down a quarter. That's nothing really. Google's down about 14 bucks. Baidu inched up a little bit earlier and pulled back. Small caps, for the most part, are pretty slow today. There was some good action last week. My guess is tomorrow and the next day, assuming the markets float up, you'll start to see some more action in small cap land as well. All right, so that's what we're seeing here on the markets, folks. Let's just go back to the spiders, which are still in float mode. Again, notice the early morning selling is the theme here. If you go to any day, basically, even looking at last Friday here, Thursday the selling, and then look at the market reverse, and then again, even going back to early last week, the down move and the float up. The only day we didn't do it really was last Wednesday, where it kind of gapped up and then you kind of sold the rest of the day. But every other day was a float up later in the day, and that's what we're seeing again today. Volume is again very, very light, and therefore that ideally continues to perpetuate a float higher in the short term. All right, guys, be ready. Join the Research Center here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Research Center gives you swing trade alerts, market analysis, proprietary guidance. We'll teach you our proprietary techniques that, again, will guarantee you an 80 to 90% success rate. I mean, if you do it right, that's what you get. That's what the track record shows. So, again, we offer that for you. Come join us here at InTheMoneyStocks.com.